Perfect. Okay, and we're live. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Patriot XR. Um, we're here with your hosts, Steven and Wren, and this week we've got
Hey.
a special treat for you guys. We've got my good friend Siem. Siem is he went to George Mason University as well, fellow Patriot. And I met him through Dr. Yu. He worked or still works to some capacity in Dr. Yu's lab. Siem, did you want to give everyone a brief introduction?
Sure. Hey, everyone. My name is Siem, and I was building out holograms with Professor Yu over at George Mason University. We had some amazing talent there. Shout outs to the entire team that was working on the project. And today we're going to be having some fun talking about not just holograms and VR, but hopefully everything in between.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we were talking, and like with all this news about like Meta and the Metaverse, Web 3.0, we thought like with Siem, it actually has some really cool projects that he's working on that pertains heavily to the Metaverse. So that's something that we'll be discussing as well. While we're on the topic, what do you guys think about this whole Meta thing? I know that's a really broad question.
Uh, Well, I used to joke to people that metaverse is not metaverse for folks who know what the word is a substitute for. It's like a marketing buzzword, right? Um, but to me, it's always been VR, AR, Web 3.0. It's a one hit click all type thing, or a way to encapsulate it so that folks who are not CS majors, and then more specifically majors who study in external reality, won't be confused. Uh, so this way, if you're buying a product, you kind of know what it means.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like anything to do with like the virtual world. As far as the environment, the interactions with the people in that environment, and like now apparently we're gonna be able to make like some pretty cool transactions in those environments.
Hmm.
You guys bought any NFTs yet?
Oh God. I am
Sounds like you have some
rel
mixed feelings about them.
yeah, I am very NFT hesitant,
Uh huh.
given
Ooh, explain.
given the amount of energy that they consume to create, and to I think appraise. My knowledge about them is not very complete. But my understanding of them is that they take a lot of computational they take a lot of computation and therefore energy in order to either generate or validate. Um, and so uh, I don't know. Crypto is not my speed. NFTs aren't my speed, but that's me personally. I
Mm-hmm.
don't speak on behalf of anyone. Um,
Well, I mean,
but
the irony to
yeah.
your statement is that you're right. NFTs aren't up to speed. For some, they're too slow. Uh, like the data they consume and the potential for being scammed. There's a lot of buzz around NFTs and how they're going to play in society, especially with the metaverse aspect. I have a link or two about digital fashion. So think of the NFT as your right to claim that fashion, whether it's through purchasing online or designing it yourself and then submitting it for folks to wear. It's incredible. There's a company called Ethereal, if I'm pronouncing that right, that does apparel and fashion in the metaverse. Let me put that link
Yeah, if
somewhere.
you want, I can do you one better. If you want, you can share your screen, and then you can actually just pull it up, and then we can just take a look at it.
Oh, you guys are gonna see everything. Okay, hold on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got
Is
links for
is
days.
Oh, gotcha.
It's saved on my back end because what I do every day with NFTs turning into games is I try to stay up to date, current with just what's out there in the
Mm-hmm.
whole VR, AR, external reality, metaverse conversation.
Got you. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I mean, if you want to just share the link, just send it over, and then I can copy and paste it, send it in the chat for like the viewers to take a look at.
Are there particularly cool applications of the metaverse and or NFTs that you like to talk about?
Ooh, particular applications. Well, the irony that I'm seeing is fashion yet again. The idea that you could walk around and maybe you're donning some type of apparel, but it's only visible to folks who are wearing either certain headset or on certain platforms. So I think other than that, maybe maybe the one I've been hearing about is taking sort of internal decor, so like bookshelves, beds, and real estate, and being able to take that virtual space and then put it onto a virtual environment, and you can sell that as an NFT. So it ties back to the physical location or the physical property, the bookshelf again, or the land that's on, and bam. But other than those two circumstances, I haven't seen much with NFTs and interior design. There's possibly some other applications in development that just aren't making as much buzz as we see with these high gross artwork or the game styles like Decentraland and the whole Nike and Roblox. Have you guys heard about that?
I
No.
think yeah, I saw an article somewhere, like skimmed through it, but Nike's making like they're doing a collab with Roblox, right?
Yeah. Let me see if I can share my screen. This one's from entrepreneur.com. So
Hmm.
let's go to where are we?
Yeah, and like while you're pulling that up, also like I think another use for them, like I mean, other than the clout, I think another like kind of like reason why people get NFTs in the first place is like there's a lot of like they're starting to get like some exclusivity for people that have a certain kind of NFT. Have you guys heard of Bored Apes?
Yes.
Bored Apes Yacht Club. It's just like another NFT group. But they have like for the people like their NFTs cost probably like I think like a couple of them have sold for like a couple $100,000, um, like U.S. dollars, like they've in the past few weeks. But I think one of the things that they're offering for people that have one of their NFTs is access to like an exclusive club. The last event they had was like in Miami. It was called like I think like the I forget what it was called. It's called like the Ape Club or something like that.
Yep. They were doing some stuff there where if you bought a certain NFT
Ape Fest. Ape
and
Fest. That's what it
Ape
was.
Fest.
Yeah, Ape Fest.
Well, clearly I don't own one of those apes, but
Yeah.
if I did, I'm sure that hundreds of people would have been there celebrating that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can see that, like I mean, if it's happening here, I can definitely see that like happening at some point in some kind in like a metaverse environment where you're like, hey, like like if you have an NFT, you're not on the list, you can't go into this environment.
Which begs the whole question on companies like Nike or Facebook getting ahead on the metaverse where the average person may not have access to. So this is a little link from entrepreneurship just highlighting what Nike Land is. It's an immersive virtual experience where participants can perform sport activities and compete each other, players in swimming, athletics, or parkour events. Um, and this is a way to sort of gamify the whole metaverse aspect, right? Um, Games including the floor is lava, dodgeball, and tag, which in Mexico is equivalent to the floor is lava, burned, and you bring them or trapped. So taking then these games that may not be, I guess, may only be popular in certain parts of the world into a larger space. I think everyone knows the floor is lava, though. That's just me.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite games as a kid. One of my parents' least favorite games when I was a kid.
Oh,
Probably not great for the furniture.
Okay, nice. Like, and Nike is just like one of like the companies that like just taking advantage of this. Have you guys seen like there's this? there's this like this like image that's like going around where it's like it has like there's a map, and like on that map it's like, so it's like basically like to like they're depicting like the metaverse environment, and on that map it's just like different companies that have bought space in the metaverse. There's like IBM,
Wow.
I think Apple. I mean, obviously Meta is one of them as well. But yeah, like a whole, like even non-technical companies, like just like buying space on the metaverse, and just like tying it back to
Mm.
NFTs. Like one, like Balenciaga, I think like a while ago they released an NFT as well that sold for I think like a couple $1,000 per NFT. So like just going back to what you said about it affecting the fashion industry, I think like I think it's definitely that's something that's gonna happen in the future. I mean, it's already happening.
And that's kind of where we're at, right? We're
Yeah.
seeing all these companies sort of expand into the NFT metaverse realm. Even Disney is colluding with, sir, I said colluding like it's a bad thing. Uh, well, I mean, like, yeah, actually, this kind of ties into a video I was seeing by Thrill Seeker VR,
Hmm.
and I'll take that video on. It was his stance about the metaverse and how things like Facebook might be monopolizing the ability for folks to get in. So picture this, right? Right now, in this state of the VR industry, when we talk about ways to immerse yourself into VR, would you tell someone when they want a VR headset, save $1,000, buy yourself like 5,000 GPU or however you want it to be, Quadro Plus, whatever the GPU, let's call it a Quadro Plus. Spend $1,000 on a PC and then buy another $1,000 or more VR headset, or spend $300 and get a Quest.
Yeah.
But because so many people are getting a Quest, it means developers only really have one option to target a larger market. Sure, you can put it on Steam, but there are so many Quest users out there. If you want the money, you do Quest. And this cycle continues because currently, Quest is the only standalone option, whether it's the one or two, that consumers can buy at an affordable price. And that is your current entry to the metaverse at scale. So you see where the issue comes in, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like honestly, I when I first got into VR, I bought this one headset. It was I forgot what was it called. I think it was called like. Anyways, it cost me about $1,200. And it was like honestly like the quality was um, and thankfully, well, I don't know if thankfully, because I feel like like I feel like this makes me part of the problem. But because like during the month I bought it, the Pico Neo 2. Um,
Oh, yeah.
but I bought it a month later. I find out that uh, the Oculus 2 was being released, and when I saw the price, like my jaw literally dropped. Like you could hear my jaw just hitting my table like that, and I was like, I'm returning this headset because I saw the specs and I'm like, damn, like they look pretty good, and so I return it. I get the Quest 2 when it comes out, and like honestly, the quality is so much better, and like like for a fraction of the cost. But like you said, like because of that discrepancy, because of that price gap, then like you're just gonna get a whole bunch of people, like the whole market, just getting Oculus Quest 2s, and then Facebook just having them a monopoly over the market.
And it's not like Facebook is a bad company, so to speak. All right. I mean, there are some folks, even at university level, who's doing some amazing research, haptics, uh, 3D sound. We're talking about blockchain technology.
Hmm.
There's so much work that Facebook ends up doing as a result of our financial support. So we can't just say, hey, Facebook, like, shut down, get off the, like, no, no,
Yeah,
no. There are countries that are dependent on, like, WhatsApp, for example.
yeah.
um, so I'm curious how in the next coming years we're going to see. changes in our society that are reflected by the stuff that we buy. This is probably going to be one of the small links, but there was a post by Apple that talked about Apple's projecting, what is it, in 10 years, the smartphone will be completely, what's the word? Not replaced. Yeah, I guess the word would be replaced
Mhm.
by AR technology.
What did you say?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm trying to, in the storm of things that I have to do for work, I'm trying to grab it. But it's a magazine that is sort of like an Apple Insider.
Hmm.
And some of the tech folks there were thinking that, our smartphones in 10 years, we probably won't need these, or there'll be some type of way to use these for augmented reality. And that's how we're
Hmm.
going to interact in the
Hmm.
metaverse through AR. I'm going to pull the link. So there he goes. Apple plans to replace the iPhone with AR in 10 years. I'm going to share that link with you
Like
guys.
everyone's just like walking around with glasses, like AR
Who
glasses.
knows?
Yeah.
Whether it's AR glasses, helmets, there is a company in India that's pioneering the thing where your smartphone becomes like a sort of like a battery bank and
Hmm.
a Wi-Fi tower for your AR glasses. So
Yeah.
it's like you're just walking around, you're connected to 5G on this thing. The
Yeah.
glasses are more like, yeah, yeah.
It's also possible that sometime in the next maybe 15 plus years, we'll have AR that can be operated by essentially a contact lens that goes directly over your eye.
Yeah.
So very unobtrusive.
Yeah.
That's something that may come down the pipeline in the distant future.
Got you.
There's a there's a video by the Nokia president that was talking about how virtual reality and to an extent holographic technology will probably dominate in the next, as you mentioned, 5 to 15 years because of advents in telecommunication, 5G and currently 5G Advanced,
Hmm.
which are different protocols for 5G, and then the recent sort of 6G era in which what we're seeing in sort of R&D and being talked about in conferences is where you're no longer dealing with 4K, 8K video. Your video can be a holographic transmission because we're able to stream data too much and so much that the fidelity wouldn't be a problem like today.
Yeah. And just honestly, just to throw another hat into the ring, so there's this company called Kernel, and they specialize in brain computer interfaces. And one of their products, I think it's called like the Flux, but it's actually it's another helmet. But the idea is, you put the helmet on, and like through like I'm not too sure, like neuroscience isn't really my realm, but like it reads your brain, like just like an ECG or like an FNIR would, and it uses what the data that it collects from your brain, and it uses ML to be able to kind of like and to be able to kind of like get your kind of read your mood and like get your preferences, and it'll use those preferences and combine that with AR technology to kind of like just optimize your day. So for example, like
Oh, yeah.
you're like you're going, I guess, so you're reading a book. You have the helmet on, you're reading a book, and like maybe like after an hour it tells you like, hey, your cognitive level is starting to go down. You're having a harder time concentrate. I can tell you're having a harder time concentrating. Go do this. Like just like take your mind off of it a little bit and then come back later. So just helping you like optimize your day by like just telling you what your mood is or like what you're feeling, and just telling just so that you can get a just maximize the efficiency throughout the day.
So it sounds like it's designed to, or at least the scenarios that you're describing right now, it's designed to be a mindfulness aid, like help you be cognizant of your own emotions and mental state.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Do you know of any other similar technology that's out there?
No, no. I only heard about this recently. Yeah, and like I I I I think I maybe like no Neuralink. That's about the only other thing that I can really think about that kind of compares to this kind of technology.
Agreed, man. I can't wait for Alexa to tell me to go exercise. Like, and she'll
Oh,
know.
yeah,
um,
gotta
it's
make.
actually gonna be for. Oh, I'm so sorry. This one's actually going to be for Ren. Remember how we were talking about yesterday about VR, and I put a link in there
Hmm.
to, it's called Half Dive. So
Ah,
it
yes.
Stephen, basically
Hmm.
take your idea of a VR headset. Now you're lying on the ground
Yeah.
and you can move and everything in VR
Hmm.
with that headset. And if you
Oh,
couple it with that technology, yeah.
like Sword Art Online. Oh man. Yeah.
So the control inputs for half dive are very subtle hand and foot motions. Is that right? You have um, maybe inertial sensors on your hands and feet. Gotcha. Um, it's very cool.
Yeah.
We should show an image of this for the folks at home. Give me just a second. I can
Yeah.
put something up. Um,
Yeah. I saw like an image of that, and it's just like some guy. Like it was straight out of SAO.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, but then think about it. You have that plus the the gear you were talking about earlier, right? And it's like, okay, dude, you need a bathroom break, like for real.
Yeah. You haven't eaten in 2 days.
it makes me think of like net runners in
Jeez.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Uh,
True.
just kind of lying inert, but like actively in a virtual environment.
Yeah. Or like Inception.
Mm. So farther down, here's a closer view of this. So one main benefit of this, if I remember right, is because none of it needs to be particularly mobile. You can hook it up to it's easier to put more rendering power in it, for
Hmm.
example. Um, and also you don't have it hanging on your face. So it's a little bit more comfortable. And obviously there's the comfort of like you can just basically be in bed. So here's some sensors on the feet. So these are tilt sensors.
Hmm.
So I guess they may be gyroscopes. Um, and then these, right. So all we know, at least at the time of this article's publishing, is uh, like a vague image of what the hand controllers will look like.
People were looking at it and then they were like, "Oh, that looks like they went to Steam and they copied their homework." But it's it. I can't deny that. One of these days we're not going to need buttons, and uh, perhaps we're going to have like. Actually, there's a company that's worked on it. It's for folks who may not have all digits. It's a way for
Mm.
them to interact in VR.
Mm. Yeah. Um, that's what do you know what input scheme they used instead?
It's sort of like you hold the rod and based on pressure, and if
Yeah.
you can't do that, then it acts like a wand so you can speak. It's a project to get more people or more accessibility features into the hands of developers so that
Mm.
they could, you know, and accommodate for folks who may have disabilities in any of their limbs. So I think I'll try and search out. This was right before the pandemic too.
Hmm.
Um, I haven't seen that type of care though for headsets, which I think even with the Quest 2, the inner pupillary distance,
Yeah.
it still looks a bit fuzzy for folks because it doesn't apparently accommodate for everyone. Or maybe it's like a 50-50 chance for anyone to actually use the Quest and be like, "Oh yeah, it looks amazing." And then, "Oh hey, it's blurry."
Yeah.
Don't quote me on the statistics, but like
Mm.
yeah.
And in my experience using the Quest 2, the Oculus Quest 2, the the blurriness of the image depends, like all hinges on like tiny shifts on my face. So, one moment it can be hanging on my face just right and everything looks crystal clear, and then the next moment, um, I accelerate my head just a little bit too fast and it shifts down my nose like half a millimeter, and now it's distractingly blurry. Like I can still it's not a problem. Like I can still read and see things, but it certainly hampers the experience.
Yeah, for sure. I feel the same exact same
Yeah.
way. Like it's just like when it happens, I'm just like in my head, I'm just like I got this for $300. I got this for $300.
So maybe I should show you then what you can get for closer to 1,300.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
Okay. If it means I can use VR without a Facebook, I'll consider it.
Dude, this is called the Varjo, and I sent a link to its LinkedIn, but they have a guy who's testing out a it's a simulator for military design.
Mhm.
Um, it just looks amazing because the simulator, even the lights inside the thing, kind of match real life. Like occlusion, it's very sophisticated, and I remember other YouTubers talking about it. Yeah. So you see, it's like it's very close to. You see that?
Yeah. One sec. Sorry for the sound. No, I muted you. You lie. Okay, there we go.
And you can tell like certain material. Yeah, but stuff like that, when you're just looking
Mhm.
over the edge, it looks so real.
That's extremely impressive. Do you know if this connects to a desktop computer in order to do
It
rendering?
can, but
Okay.
it also does. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Okay.
Okay. That's pretty sick. You said 1300?
Yeah, they so what made me like find it was I was looking for what's the next consumer handheld that people need.
Mhm.
And these guys were like, "Hey, I do consumer stuff."
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm with like I said, you know, get me off Facebook and for $1,000 I get to be off Facebook. I get to, erase my digital footprint that much more. That might do it for me.
That is certainly tempting.
Yeah.
It's
So
for me as well.
what's the what why would you consider buying the Vargo over the Varjo over Oculus Quest 2 other than like not having to use a Facebook?
I think the for me one of the biggest complaints I would have with the VR industry is stagnation. So um, there is a mod you can do with the original Vive that makes the original Vive look better than the Oculus Quest. All you do is you guys have heard of like the Samsung Gear VR models? They cost like 50, $80. They're for smartphones.
Hmm.
So you
Yeah,
take, yeah,
basically just um, some lenses with a slot, and then you put your phone directly inside, and the phone screen becomes the display.
Oh, like kind of
Then
like
goes
Google
to the lens and
Cardboard.
reaches. Yeah, similar.
Okay.
yeah. The only difference is that these were made by Samsung for mainly Samsung phones. Some dude was like, let me remove the lenses from those guys and like swap it to the Vive, and then bam, you get 2020 quality.
Oh, gotcha.
Huh.
It's a little bit more you got to do. You got to mess with the internal files so the Vive knows that its new eyeballs are good. But
Yeah.
it's one of the reasons why I'm moving towards other headsets to see, what breaks the mold. What
Yeah.
actually, yeah. Otherwise, we're all doing the same thing for the next 4 or 5 years,
Hmm.
and we don't need like SAO, but we need an experience that compels investors to take XR more seriously, fund indie development, and then hopefully get the next 101 interactive, the next non-dystopian Ready Player One active.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's healthy competition for Meta, and like we discussed earlier, helps us you know you become less dependent on Meta and starts, like decentralizing the VR industry. Um, oh, so yeah, I remember you mentioning that you were working on a couple of cool projects. Like one was Replica Studios.
Oh, those guys. Okay, hold on. Let me pull them up and then share my screen.
Hmm.
A window. I hope you guys can see that.
Oh, I just saw the homepage.
Ah. So yeah, the what's happening right now is I'm in the process of a couple interviews, and I decided to just okay. Everyone wants me to make a video game. Let me make like one decent game.
Hmm.
And to my surprise, there's a company right now called Replica Studios that is taking voice acting to the next game. Um, some companies would spend millions of dollars, 20 million, 30 million, or plus, depending on who they assign, uh, the time, the schedule to get another personnel to do voices. But Replica Studios, they got AI to mimic the voices of people who are willing to, offer their voice and do customized like text to speech for anything. And I say anything like you got the NVIDIA Omniverse, Roblox, MetaHuman, which is a whole Valve thing. These are all interconnected. What their goal is eventually to get folks to uh, take their technology and integrate it to as many projects as possible so you can get voice for the cheap. And this can go great for example, automating NPCs in a large quest thing like
Yeah.
oh, I can't use quest, maybe a epic adventure like Skyrim or Elder Scrolls for folks who don't know.
Hmm. Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm using this tech.
Yeah. You don't need to go, like shell out a bunch of money to get an actor for an NPC.
That could be very, very useful. Especially, I wonder if in the future we'll have papers out. Maybe they're existing ones. I don't know. Where you can generate voice lines from a custom voice, like use style vectors to represent voices. So you could have like style vectors for age, for
Yeah.
gender, for like resonance and all sorts of other things, and create your own voices. And if Bethesda is going, this is a call out post now, Bethesda. If Bethesda is going to continue to go through the bare minimum effort and have like 15 voice actors for games with hundreds of characters, like Skyrim, like Oblivion, like Morrowind, um, perhaps Fallout, but I haven't played and I really should. Um, well, maybe they could instead generate some more voices, some more interesting voices. And obviously, that is to the disadvantage of voice actors themselves. Because if this becomes a trend, voice actors are going to have less demand for their profession, which sucks because it's hard being an actor already. Um, but at least, well, on the consumer end, maybe we'll have more voices available in the Elder Scrolls 6. Maybe we won't have to, uh, for the 20th time, talk to like some new character in some new town and go, "Oh, you sound just like Rayloff, my buddy from the cart."
No. Yeah. It's like like you're watching like a TV series, and you see the same guy, like, the same actor for like another TV series that you're watching, and you're like, oh man, like, you know, small community.
Yeah, I don't know, that's something I enjoy.
Oh, got you.
From IP to IP and like noticing voice actors that I already know.
Hmm.
But what maybe I'm alone in this, but what I dislike is, you know, going to the like, playing Morrowind and talking to the 50th, male Dunmer, and they sound just like all the 49 male Dunmer before them.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're all voiced by the single person who also voices the antagonist, who like,
Uh-huh.
that's what's immersion breaking for me. Like going
Gotcha.
like, oh, there's this whole continent for me to explore, and then it feels way less. There's way less of a reward for exploration if it doesn't feel like you're meeting new people.
Yeah.
It just feels like you're meeting the
Yeah.
same person
It's
again.
not very open world of you.
Yeah, it's not very open world of you, and it's not very nice of you to put the voice actor through the ringer like this. Go, hey,
Yeah.
hey, buddy, you're on the team. You have these 50 characters to voice, and we've hired you for this much time. And so then the actor goes, oh, well, shit, I can't do like any sort of characterization for them beyond like the bare minimum. So
Mm-hmm.
then they all sound the same. So then they have the same intonations and personalities and things, except with a couple of exceptions here and there. Like if you're voicing the Daedric princes, you've got it good because like there's so much background lore on like who they are and what they're
Yeah.
about. Um, but if you're voicing like Lydia, and
Lydia.
you go, oh well, she's a house Carl of Whiterun. That's all we got on her. All right, what the fuck? What am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah.
And then they all like, the, if that's the information that voice actor is going to get for every single character they voice in Skyrim, then of
Mhm.
course they're going to sound the same because they don't know what to do about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my rant.
Well, I mean, your rant's just about to go a little bit higher. So introducing alter ego,
Okay.
where you know, it was funny. The show's premise was that some people can't just sing and dance, they can do things with their graphics. So instead, folks audition and compete in avatar costumes in the metaverse. So picture the next, surprise when we have another, like, I don't know, Hatsumiku, where the entire voice is AI, but you'll never know because the entire person is a simulation by itself.
Damn.
Ah. So are these overlaid onto a human performer?
They're using either some type of motion capture tech in
Yeah.
house. I've heard things where, some people are like, it's just like Valve. You put like a tracker on.
Mhm. Yeah.
Huh.
Wow. Like what's like so it, like they have to sing and like do they have to do like stunts with their avatar or is it just
It's mainly singing for now.
okay.
I was told though that in future competitions, they're going to have to do things to impress the judges. So it
Mhm.
can't just be singing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like to think of this as a little sneak peek into the future of like America's Got Talent or
Yeah.
American Ninja, if you know that show.
Yeah, 100%. I used to binge that show all the time. So what are they kind of other than their singing, like what are they judged on right now? Like is it like avatar design or right now or on in this stage of the show it's just purely they're judged on their singing.
There are, from what I understand, there are a few other categories.
Mhm.
Alter ego. How are they judged?
Mhm.
Google. They will be judged solely on their talent. Emphasis on that because that is some very generic wording.
Very open.
Uh,
Yeah. Gotcha. Dang.
So this particular selling point is to basically filter out physical appearance from the basis of judging.
I mean, think about it, right? You go
Yeah.
into the next gen, marketing aside, everything's just AI.
Mhm. Yeah.
Why hire a bilingual or polyglot who knows Mandarin, Spanish, and some Arabic when all you gotta do is toggle a setting?
Oh, you mean for this show, like maybe like you have like a Gans that's able to like kind of like move the lips in a way like if you set it to a certain language, then like they'll sing it in that language.
Yeah,
Okay, nice, gotcha.
it it opens the possibilities to building the metaverse in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
just like Soulless Vision. Yeah, so honestly, that was what I got Replica and Solus mixed up. That's what I was about. That's what I was referring to initially. But yeah, no, like we were we were just talking about like um making like making like the VR world like more decentralized, and like that's the first thing I thought of was Solus Vision. So this is a project you've been working on, right?
Yes. This project is taking someone's words and making an environment out of. And they have a demo video here talking about what they got done before our last round of funding.
Hmm.
And what I love about it is I think everyone sees creating virtual worlds
Hmm.
as a really fun thing, but when you sit down, yeah, it's not fun. You got to hire studios like Bethesda level intricacies, and yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I don't have a board ape, so
Yeah.
I can't afford. um, AI makes it all possible, and this is one of the projects we're working on. It saves you hours of development time just by being able to, reduce game development to a matter of a few words. Um, some of our features are no code solutions, so you do not need to be a programmer to understand how to get it running. And for our current MVP, we've made it so you speak and you can get a few tents set up in a thick or barren forest area. Uh, our goal is hopefully in the next, year, 2 years to take this from, hey, we're developing in just, a couple game engines to, hey, any framework.
Yeah. And it's
Uh,
kind of funny. Ren and I were just talking about the other day, like the learning curve for Unity, and how like
Mm,
pretty steep like that was. So a solution like this would be kind of perfect for someone who, especially someone from a non-technical background.
mm. And someone looking to do terrain sculpting. Does Solus have tools to edit by hand once you're given your generated world? Like if there are tweaks that you want to make that are like maybe beyond that are maybe more specific and like very position focused uh, than like what the NLP can do for you?
Yes. In fact, we're working on that right now. Um, it's something I'll be starting to actually go a little bit more detail in next week, but we're using GPT-3, which for folks who don't know, this is like an open source AI library of code to get stuff running to identify very specific jargon. So if you say things, well, how about Ren, you give me an example of something you'd
Sure.
like to see?
Uh, uh, Tweak the world that you just gave me. Make it so that um, on the third mountain south of the northwest corner of the map, there's a cave at altitude plus 300 meters. Give it an average ceiling height of 8 feet with like a standard deviation of half a foot. And make it fork twice, but have all the paths come together at the end with a final boss and a treasure chest. See, I'm just ahead is up. You seem to be muted right now.
Thanks, man.
Okay, no problem.
So to take your order, what
Yeah,
we would do on our end, or what someone would want to do to create their own customizable command is, and folks who've dabbled with AWS and possibly done scripting for Alexa, you probably understand this too. You take certain phrases, certain words, and we just train our AI to recognize those key words. So,
mm,
for example, fork or cave. Cave would be into regard to some prefab, it of which we would like to be able to have it so that it would catch every word. But AI to be trained at such a level would need a lot of iterations to go through. So
mm,
this is why currently we have it set it up so that it can do most of what you just said in
yeah,
short sentences. The next step, and possibly what I see in maybe by the end of our next cycle actually, would be to get it to understand compound phrases, to understand multiple forms of different intent, and then be able to expand on those. So for example, you say that there's an altitude of let me actually change it, let's say it's
yeah,
100 feet.
sure.
So inside the Unity game engine or even Unreal, sometimes your terrain would have a limit, so it can't go to 100 feet. What should the AI do in lieu of that? So we're working on ways as well for Solus Vision to we can debug and problem solve these scenarios, but also uh, make it robust. So if someone else decides, okay, I do not want a cave, we're doing an ocean biome, put the Kraken somewhere like 10,000 leagues on this. Yeah. um, and I love this because then I see this as like the next level of not just metaverse but entertainment. Can you imagine setting up a D&D campaign or a even a fighting game with your friends, and all you have to say is put mountain here, put players here, set timer to 15 minutes, play.
I think what would be amazing for D&D purposes, I dungeon master for Dungeons and Dragons, would be to have a system where that NLP is running live as you narrate a session. So basically, you can like have it add on to what would otherwise be an ordinary tabletop session, and then anytime the DM narrates a new environment that the players find themselves in, like they open a door and they're like in a new room of a dungeon, or they enter into the antagonist's cliffside mansion wreathed by lightning or whatever, it the your program would catch whatever descriptions of the environment the DM gives, and then create visuals of that for everybody to see. I think that'd be amazing, especially because for particularly long sessions, or if there's something that's on a player's mind, it can be easy to miss things about the environment, and that can be very frustrating. So to have a program there, like recording it all and forming a persistent visual, I think would be really, really helpful. Like I was playing in a session last week where we were searching through a house for clues, and we kept having to ask the dungeon master reminders for like what the layout of the house was, and eventually he just had to draw a map, which took time out of the game, and it didn't look that pretty because he wasn't expecting to have to do it. But to have that all happen instantaneously and with like actual like compute rendered computer graphics, that would be sick.
100%.
And shouts to both Sean and Will, who are Sean's the founder on this idea. Will, he is the lead Unity developer alongside myself, working with them. Just having this opportunity has been amazing, and it's. I think I told them when I first joined, kind of like the whole Futurama meme, like "shut up and take my money." Like,
Yeah.
something like this. Something like this needed to be here yesterday, but you can see now that indie companies like these only have a chance when someone like us, uh, Stephen, Wren, or folks in the audience, have a burning passion desire to see it through. And Stephen, like you mentioned, there is a gap in just game technology or computer programming for metaverse experiences. Take a look at this image. Let me see if I can pull it up. Not that image, but that's the metaverse one. Hold on. It
Yeah,
is
that's
a,
exactly that's what we were talking about a couple minutes ago.
let's see. There we go. Full stack development. I'm going to open this in a new tab. You see how dense this is?
Yeah.
I'll share it here in the. These are all the technologies needed or currently available for folks
Hmm.
who want to go into development.
Hmm.
So you have front end with A-frame. Maybe you're an Adobe dude, an Angular guy, Babylon. I haven't heard Babylon in a while. We got new stuff like Niantic's ARDK. We got OpenVR SDK, Photon for folks who are familiar with getting streaming set up in your games, databases, backend, certain protocols. You can't expect, even for me, like half of this stuff in the engines and platforms, I had no idea existed.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So what needs to happen is one or two things, and this can be part of our discussion too, guys. I was always thinking that back when I was at Mason, that when we get in, we're going to be 4 years behind. By the time we graduate, the industry's already 4 years ahead.
Yeah.
So there needs to be classes like the one I took actually with Professor Yu on holographic and immersive design. It was a like 400 level course, and it was designed to just work on things like hologram design to write a paper eventually. And I just I wish classes like these that are more flexible and enable us to think more critical but engage in higher end topics would get us closer to doing stuff like soulless vision